He saw him standing at the end of the hall, late at night. A man wearing stripes. My older brother was terrified to even walk to the bathroom. We thought, well, kids imagine things, right? Especially in old, quiet houses when the wind blows just right. We dismissed it. It took nearly 20 years, in a story my mother never meant to tell, to realize that the figure in the hallway wasn't a ghost. It was something real. Something dangerous. And he had been inside of our house. If you find yourself drawn to those shadows just beyond the porch light, to stories whispered late at night that make the hairs on your arms stand up, well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the other side. Tonight's story takes us back to a small, unassuming house in rural West Virginia. The kind of place where nights are dark and quiet, and the woods press in close. It starts when the storyteller, who we'll call John, was just a kid, maybe 7 years old. His brother was around 10. Now, their dad worked construction, and he was often out of town for weeks at a stretch. So most nights, it was just the two boys and their mom. And their house, well, it had a particular layout. You see, you'd climb the stairs, and immediately to your right was the parents' bedroom. But turn left, and you're heading down a long hallway. Partway down, another left turn led you to the older brother's room. But John's room, that was all the way at the very end of that main hall, directly across from the only upstairs bathroom. Now picture this. At both ends of the hallway were these old doors, the kind with glass window panes. They always kept them locked tight, but they opened up to a small balcony on one side that overlooked the front yard, and on the other side, it led to a back porch that basically just dropped off into the dark woods behind the house. Now, they rarely, if ever, used those doors. They were just two glass eyes staring into the night at either end of the corridor. Both his mom and his older brother had a habit. They would wake up in the middle of the night, needing to go to the bathroom, and John, being the light sleeper he is, always heard them. The telltale creak of floorboards, the distant flush, the soft click of a door. These were all familiar sounds for John at night. But one night, it was different. It was way past his bedtime, and his mom had finally roused herself off the couch downstairs and told him and his brother to head up. As they were walking down that long upstairs hallway, the older brother just stopped, dead still, about halfway down the hallway. He turned back, his face pale in the dim light filtering up from downstairs, and he said something that would echo in John's mind for years to come. I'm gonna try to pee before I go to bed. The past few nights, I've been too afraid to walk to the bathroom. He hesitated, glancing toward the dark end of the hallway where the bathroom and John's bedroom were. I keep seeing a man. He's wearing stripes and standing at the end of the hallway. A man in stripes standing in their hallway. Now, their mom, maybe half asleep herself, didn't make much of it. Perhaps she figured he was just overtired or trying to spook his little brother, so she didn't press him. She just ushered both of them toward their rooms. But John, he couldn't shake it. The image lodged itself deep into his 7-year-old brain. A man in stripes, waiting for him in the dark. From that night forward, bedtime became an ordeal. John started sprinting down the hallway, a mad dash from the top of the stairs past his brother's door, his eyes fixed straight ahead, heart pounding. He was terrified he'd catch a glimpse of that striped figure lurking near the bathroom door. or even near his bedroom door. Every single night, this was the same fear. Now, life moves on. Childhood fears fade, and they're replaced by teenage worries. Fast forward about 10 years, John is 18 now, and that terrifying hallway is just a distant, slightly embarrassing memory. He was sitting in the car with his mom one afternoon, and they were reminiscing about the old family dog they used to have, a mutt named Max. And they were laughing about how wild he was. He was always chewing shoes, getting into the trash, skipping out of the house at night and coming back in the morning, just normal lighthearted conversation. Then completely out of the blue, his mom says something that makes the laughter die in his throat. She casually says, "Do you remember that time I opened the front door for the cops, and Max ran back inside and tore open that big bag of dog food we had?" John just stares at her, confused because cops? At their house? In all of the years they lived in that quiet rural place, he couldn't remember the police ever being called. Not once. "What are you talking about?" he asked her. And his mom, she freezes. A strange look comes over her face. Recognition. Realization. She goes quiet for a moment. Then she softly says, "Oh, that's right. I never told you. You were too young at the time." Never told him? Too young? What had happened that was serious enough to call the police? Serious enough that she kept it a secret from her own sons for over a decade? He waits. The lighthearted mood in the car is gone, and it's replaced by heavy curiosity. What didn't she tell them? What happened that night that she needed the police? She takes a deep breath, and her eyes look somewhere far away, back down the years. And she tells him, one night when he was small, maybe 6 or 7, she woke up suddenly. There was a noise right outside her bedroom window. Their room was upstairs, remember, on the right. She sat up, heart pounding, and listened. There it was again. A scratching, a shuffling. She crept to the window and carefully, slowly, peeled back the curtain just an inch. And she saw him. A man, standing out there in the dark, staring right in the window at her. She gasped, stumbled back, fumbled for the bedside lamp and flicked it on. The sunlight flooded the yard, and the man outside startled, then bolted, melting back into the darkness toward the woods. Shaking, she went straight to her husband's closet, took out his pistol, the one he kept for protection when he was away working, and called the police. When the officers arrived, she gave them a description of the man she'd seen. Tall, white, with short dark hair. And he was wearing a striped shirt and jeans. His mom said the officers listened intently, then they exchanged a look that told her that he wasn't just some random prowler in the neighborhood. They told her the description she just gave. It matched somebody that they were actively searching for in that area. Someone dangerous. An escaped inmate. A man who had broken out of a nearby jail. A man who was awaiting trial for murder. Hearing all of this, all these years later, sitting in the car beside his mom, John felt a chill snake down his spine. The pieces slammed together in his mind with horrifying clarity. The man his mom saw peering through her window, wearing a striped shirt, that was the man his brother saw night after night, standing silently at the end of their hallway, wearing stripes. It wasn't a ghost he had seen. It wasn't a child's imagination running wild. His brother had seen the man, the escaped murderer, who hadn't just been lurking outside, he had been inside of their house, standing in the hallway, watching. For how long? How many nights? It took almost 20 years to understand the true source of his brother's childhood terror. 20 years for a casual comment from his mother to unlock a horrifying truth. The man in stripes wasn't just a figment of fear. He was the reason for it. A killer had walked their halls while they slept, casing the house, perhaps deciding. And now, even all these years later, John can't stop picturing him, standing there in the shadows at the end of the hall, just watching his family through those old, locked glass pane doors. How close had they come? What might have happened if his mother hadn't woken up on that night? Or if his brother hadn't been too afraid to walk down that hallway alone? Some secrets, they remain buried in families for years, silent and unseen, until one stray comment brings them crashing into the light. But sometimes, the danger isn't hidden inside the family. Sometimes it follows you home from the most peaceful places. And if you think the idea of a murderer inside your house is chilling, wait until you hear about the couple whose honeymoon camping trip in the quiet mountains turned into a terrifying ordeal, thanks to a lone woman who appeared in the woods and simply refused to leave them alone. That story will be the next post on the Other Side YouTube channel. And if you're watching this in the future, it's waiting right here for you.